What's up, witches? It's almost October, and I'm going to be doing a horror movie tier list today. Now, this tier list is going to be the best tier list you've ever seen. It has all the best horror movies, and it's going to get you ready for fall and everything that you want to watch. So here we go. So I have my tier list here. Now, the only thing is that I do not have like a premium version of this, so you have to see the stupid ads, but I do have all my movies. I have 50 movies here, which is a lot of movies to go, but I am so ready to get started. So the first movie we have here is Insidious, the first one, I believe, and Insidious is a really good series. It has Patrick Wilson in it. It actually was the first horror movie I really fell in love with. It's a really good one to start with. Actually, fun fact, I received this movie from a ex-boyfriend. I think I was in middle school at the time, actually. But this movie is really, really good. It's a great movie to start. I don't think it's the best movie, though. So I'm going to put it in better than Final Destination, which I forgot to go over the categories here. So I'm loving it after my favorite movie, scarily underrated, better than Final Destination, Christ Compels You, and rather be buried alive than watch the movie. So, here's another one. This next one here is Blair Witch, and Blair Witch is a found footage movie. I respect it for what it is. However, it's very boring and it's very slow paced. And I'm going to put it in Christ Compels You, which might be a hot take. But I am not a huge fan of Blair Witch. It's very boring. There's not really any scares. I understand, why people really like it, but just not a fan. Alright, here we have Misery. Misery is a Stephen King novel, but it's turned into a film, obviously, starring, what's her name? Kathy Bates. So, horror icon here. Honestly, I'm going to put it in scarily underrated, and the reason why is because I feel like I don't hear enough people talk about this movie. The book is phenomenal. The movie's really good. It's very reminds me of, kind of how Gerald's Game is a little bit, but it's, personally, in my mind, I think it's better, but that's kind of a hot take, too. Alright, The Conjuring, the OG Conjuring. Now, I think the Conjuring universe, but the first one specifically, definitely changed the genre for horror. It's a scary movie, still gets me every time I watch it. I'm gonna put in I'm loving it just because it is so good. I love that movie. Definitely would recommend if you have never seen it, which would be crazy, but I definitely would recommend it. Alright, The Exorcist. Here's the thing with that. Don't love it. It's kind of scandalous to say that. I'm not a huge fan of The Exorcist. Now, the reason why is because I think it's a little old. Not my favorite movie, I will be honest. I think it's dated. I don't think it's that good. I think people just say it's a classic because it came out in, I don't even know, the 80s? I don't even know. I'm not a huge fan of The Exorcist. But I definitely think it's something that you have to watch. And I'm going to put that in better than Final Destination. However, Insidious is definitely above The Exorcist in terms of horror movies, for sure. Ooh, okay. Psycho. Psycho's a classic. I recently watched it last year. I'd never seen it before. Really, really good movie. Would recommend watching Psycho. Scarily. Oh, but is it underrated? Gosh. I don't know if it's I don't know if I'd consider Psycho underrated. People really like Psycho. Honestly, okay, I'm gonna put it in better than Final Destination, but it should be above The Exorcist. I don't know if I can switch it. There you go. Because Psycho is just, it's done better. It's more of a classic, like Norman Bates. It's just such a good movie. You have to watch this if you're trying to watch classic horror, because it is a classic horror movie. Speaking of classic horror, the OG It. Now, I own the OG It and It Chapter 2. And I respect it. I do respect it. Not a fan. I know it's a TV special. I love Tim Curry. I love the way he does it. ironically. I love the way his Pennywise is. It's scary, it's freaky, but it's slow. And it combines both of the parts of the movie, and I'm not a fan of that. It also totally gets rid of the Eddie Ritchie stuff, which I am a supporter of, so... Okay, Annabelle. Is this the original Annabelle? Yeah, I think this is the original Annabelle. Okay, original Annabelle is also... I don't think it's underrated, though. Okay. Honestly, I'm gonna put it in above Psycho. Just because I feel like Annabelle changed a lot of horror genre. Honestly, not the scariest doll movie, but not bad. Alright, what is this one? I can't even tell what it is. Ah, The Shining. I picked a like artwork poster. Okay, I already know where I'm putting this. Every single time it snows, I'm watching The Shining. The Shining has such good acting. I know there's like a lot of like weird stuff behind the scenes with it. The book is phenomenal. The movie is phenomenal. It's so well shot. It's such a good like winter horror movie, and I would highly recommend it. It is so good. If you haven't seen The Shining, watch The Shining. All right. Okay, I put this one in here solely because it's kind of a game changer in the horror. Not very good, though. Wait, which is it? I can't even remember. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, I was right. It is Paranormal Activity. All right. So, game changer in horror. Definitely changed the found footage thing. I respect it. Not very good, though. I think I'm going to put it above these two, though. It's better than Blair Witch, I would say, in my opinion. Although, it won't work. Come on. There we go. Okay, Parasite. Not sure if people would consider this a horror movie, but I had to add it on this list because it's so good. This movie was Movie of the Year, I think, in 2017, 2018. Ugh, maybe later than that. But Parasite is one of those movies that's like a kind of a realistic thriller. It's just... I can't explain this movie because you just have to watch it. It has a lot to do with class. I believe it's in a different language, but it's worth it. Even if you speak English, it's super good. I definitely think this deserves to go here. Speaking of The Shining before that, and same with Parasite. I don't know if it'd be considered horror, but I definitely would recommend it. Okay, this one. Can't even begin to talk about this one either. It's so good. Silence of the Lambs. So good. I'm loving it. One of my favorite movies of all time. Also not really considered a horror movie, but I had to include it because it's spooky in a way. If you like are scared of like killers in prison, or really want to see a good Jodie Foster movie or a good like girl boss movie, I would consider this a good girl boss movie because she is treated really poorly by her cop friends, and it's just super good. It's also kind of gross. Like there's some parts that are like that make me squirm, you know, like the part when they're in the pit and all that stuff. I mean, that part, and all the bugs. If you're scared of bugs, it has a lot of bugs in it. Okay, Child's Play. I'll be honest, not a fan. Not a huge fan of Chucky. Scares me if you're into talking dolls. That will scare you. But not really a fan of Chucky. I think there's way too many sequels. There's way too many movies that have to do with it. Chucky's dead. Like, Chucky needs to be done. Alright. Gotta put this one up here. Get Out. Also could be a thriller movie, but one of the best movies of all time. So good. Jordan Peele, one of the best directors. Oh my god, this movie is so good. I like can't even begin to explain how good that movie is. It just needs to be watched. And I think this is one that people can watch if they don't really want to watch a horror movie, but they want to watch a good commentary, because Jordan Peele says a lot in his films, and this one is one that just like chef's kiss. It's so good. Alright, Conjuring 2. This one's hard, because I might like this better than... No, I don't like this better than Conjuring 1. Conjuring 2, it's good. It's got Bill Wilkins. It's got a family, which is always interesting for scary movies. Conjuring movies usually have that, but... Okay, I'm going to put this above Annabelle, but I don't think it's underrated, and I don't think it's, like, the best movie of all time. Okay, I'm gonna put this one here. The Quiet Place. Now, also could be a thriller movie. Horror if you're into, like, aliens or, like, really, like, there's a part in this movie that just makes me squirm. It has to do with a nail. That's all I'm gonna say. But I think it's underrated. I really do. I think when people think of horror, especially PG-13 horror, this movie is not brought up enough. Like, it needs to be brought up. Okay, Poltergeist. The original Poltergeist. Respect it. Don't love it. It's okay. There's a remake of Poltergeist. It's not great either. I think that the original Poltergeist is better. It's better than Final Destination. It's one to watch if you want to watch classic horror movies, especially, like, I believe it's 80s. There's a lot of lore behind the Poltergeist as well, which is interesting if you're watching the movie, so I would recommend that. Okay, so it's my favorite movie of all time. I will not argue on this. I will defend this till the day I die. I am an It stan. It is my favorite movie. I love it for so many reasons. The book has its problems, but this movie has scares. It has great acting. It has great kid acting. It has a great vibe to it with, like, friends and, like, all that, and I will always love this movie. I believe I saw it at least 10 times in the theaters. I could go on. I could do a whole video on how much I love this movie and what I love about it. But if you have not seen this movie, go watch this movie. Go watch it. Alright. Oh, getting into some A24. The Witch. This may be a hot take, but I think The Witch is a little underrated. I don't think people talk about it enough when they talk about A24. This movie is beautiful. It's so well shot. There's some weird stuff in it, but it's A24. As for A24, it's not the weirdest of the A24 movies. There's definitely a lot weirder. I'm talking about Men. So if you want to see a weird A24 movie, Men. But this one's just... It's good. I think it's underrated. I really like it. It's a slow burn movie. It's a period piece. I just think it's a really good movie. Anya Taylor-Joy is remarkable. It's a great ending. Would recommend. Okay. So, Creep 2, which is before Creep 1, those kind of go hand in hand. Now, I'm going to do both these movies because Creep, underrated. Creep 2, also underrated. If you want to watch a good found footage movie, Creep and Creep 2 are the ones to watch. Those are the best found footage movies I've ever seen. I don't see enough people talk about it. Creep 1 is definitely better than Creep 2, but they're both equally very good. And this is one that you want to watch for the first time and, like, get a reaction. Like, don't look anything up about it. Like, don't look up a synopsis. Like, watch the movie and then, like, determine, you know, what you think about it, because that's one of the movies that you just, like, gotta watch, like, blind. Like, you just gotta go into that not thinking about it. The first time I watched the movie, I, like, totally thought it was really weird, but then on the second watch, I loved it, and I watched it a couple times more, and I even love it even more, so, would recommend. Alright, we're getting into some more A24. Hereditary, one of the best movies I've ever seen. I am a Hereditary stan. I know a lot of people, this movie gets a lot of hate. People say it's overrated, but it's so, I really like it. It's one of the best movies I've ever seen. If you're looking for a great movie to watch for the first time this Halloween and be scared, watch this in the dark on Halloween. Look in the corners, pay attention to what's going on in the story. You will not be able to sleep. Like, if you're looking for scary, this is the movie to watch. Which, speaking of, no comment. Alright, Annabelle Creation. Ooh. Do I put it there? I don't even know. Okay, I'm putting it here. Only because of McKenna Grace. That child is such a good actress. And she's the only reason why this movie is okay. It's not good. It's not a good movie. It's a weird movie. I think they tried way too hard, but it's not the worst movie I've ever seen. Underrated banger. Hush. if you're afraid of like home invasion stuff, realistic stuff, this is a movie to watch. It's similar to The Quiet Place. Similar vibe to The Quiet Place, but it's so good. I don't see enough people talking about it. I think it's on Netflix. It's like one of the best like home invasion movies that I've watched. I'm really scared of home invasion movies, and this is one that really freaked me out, and I definitely would recommend. Okay, first one on this list. Insidious 3 doesn't exist in my mind. It is so bad. Disney Channel actress is in it. I think she played Lexi on Ant Farm. And she's fine. Like, she does a good job. But the movie is so bad. The first, like, 5 minutes in the movie just, like, ruins it. It's just not good. I like Elise, but I'm not watching that movie again. Like, it's not happening. Speaking of bad movies, I'm sorry, but Insidious Last Key, Insidious 4, so bad. Not a good movie at all. Do not like it. It's better than Insidious 3, so I'll put it there, but oh my god, it's bad. Alright, moving on to better things. Barbarian. I don't think this movie got enough hype. Where should I put it? Okay, I think I'm gonna put it here. I don't think this movie got enough hype when it came out. It's funny. It's really good. Bill Skarsgård does such a good job. Justin Long is in this movie, and he's really funny. I think this has a really fun twist to it as well. Great movie to go into blind without really knowing it. As far as twists go, I think this is a really good one. I would love to rewatch this in the theaters again, because watching it in the theaters the first time was great. I think my husband liked it a lot more than I did, but I definitely would recommend. It's a great one to watch if you're looking for something that's kind of funny, but also kind of creepy and weird. It's one of those kind of movies. Alright, Black Phone. This is a tough one. I think I'm going to put it up on here. This is one of the best horror movies that came out last year. Watching it in the theaters was an experience. I loved it. I think it's based off of a book. Ethan Hawke, I believe, plays the villain. James Ranson is in it too. He's in It too. He plays Eddie in It too. He's super funny. The main characters and family. There's a really famous TikTok sound from there that's like, Jesus? What the? Jesus? And now it's really good. It's scary though. I mean, it's a kidnapper movie. So if you're scared by that, that's definitely one to keep on your radar for sure. Might be underrated too. Kind of in between the two. Halloween. Alright, it's a classic. I understand. Not a huge fan. Honestly, I think I'm just learning that I don't like 80s, 90s horror. It's just not really my thing. I think this Michael Myers is not one of my favorite villains. I think he's like I don't know. I think it's the franchise that frustrates me because the movies are so bad, and this one is a classic, and I understand why. But the franchise has just gone downhill. Like, the last movie was so bad. Like, it's just not even funny. Alright, Jaws. Not really a horror movie. Definitely better than these two, in my opinion. I don't know. Jaws is thriller more than horror. But if you've never seen it, I mean, it's a classic. I just recently watched it again, and it's good. It's good. It's not bad. Not super scary, but if you're, like, wanting to watch a classic with sharks, you know, it's better than The Meg. So, I mean, watch that. Smile. Oh my god. Okay. Listen. This movie surprised me. I went in thinking it was going to be a joke. Went out freaking... I actually cried at this movie. And so, spoiler for Smile. There is a death of an animal in it. Death of animals always make me really sad because I have 3 cats. And so I did not like that part in it. Otherwise, really good movie. Scary. Loved the ending. There's an actor in it that I really liked. I forgot his name. The main actress is great. It's just overall a good time. Honestly, if you're looking for like a jump scare type of movie with things that you're like unexpected, this is one to definitely put on the list. And it's newer. It definitely has a good kind of like cursed kind of movie. Great. All right, It Too. Be honest, I'm gonna put it here. It's better than Final Destination. Don't love it, mainly because of the CGI. I love the movie because I love the first one. I love the actors they chose. Bill Hader is always a win. James Ranson, great. I love James McAvoy. I love Jessica Chastain. They're all great. But the CGI makes me really irritated because they de-aged the kids. And it looks so bad. So, not a fan of that. Alright. Us. Honestly, underrated. When I see horror movie lists, I do not see this movie on it. It is a horror movie. I do not think it's a thriller. It is a horror movie. If you haven't watched this movie, it is so freaky the first time you watch it. There's so many, like, cool jump scares in it. It's the actors, the main actress, I think it's Lupita Nyong'o. I think that's her. I'm not sure. But the main actress and actor that play these parts are so good. Like, it's Jordan Peele at his finest. I mean, there's so many references in it. There's so many cool things to, like, twins. Like, it's just so good. Okay. This is gonna be a hot take. I can't watch the Saw movies. I do not like human torture. It's a hot take for horror. People love the Saw movies. I can respect them. I love the concepts. I like the first one. But I can't watch the Saw movies. So Escape Room is my Saw. I do not hear enough people talking about this movie. If you're looking for good PG-13 horror, Escape Room is where you want to start. It's so good. And I know it's a hot take. Not a lot of people like this movie, which is why I'm going to put Escape Room 2 with it as well. Although, no, there's 2 endings to Escape Room 2, and I think the second one is a lot better than the first ending, than the theatrical version, but watch these movies. Get more hype with these movies. They're so good, and I want them to make a third one, because I really like them, because they are my Saw, right? Alright, what is this one down here? I can't tell. Ah, Quiet Place 2. I don't know. I might put it here. Mainly because I don't love it. The first one's better. Oh wait, I don't want to spoil that. Never mind. There's an actor in it in the first one that I really like. It's not in the second one. I'm gonna leave it at that. Alright, Insidious 2. I'm gonna put it there. Insidious franchise, I love. First horror franchise I really fell in love with. Insidious 2 is just as good as Insidious 1, in my opinion. Patrick Wilson will always be my horror king. Love him. Super good. Ah, The Triangle. Underrated as hell. I watched this YouTuber. I'm blanking on her name, but she loves this movie. She talks about it all the time, and so I watched it. And I agree with her. It's a great movie. It's so underrated. People need to be talking about this movie. I think Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth is in this movie when he used to do horror. When he was doing Cabin in the Woods. And he's good in it. I like the main actress. I love the story. If you want something that's like a twist with time, this is one to watch. It's so trippy, and it's just really, really, really good. It also takes place on a boat, like in the ocean. So that's a really cool one as well. Okay, this one, oh my gosh, there's going to be so many movies in this one. Okay, Invisible Man came out right before COVID. It came out March 2020, and I don't think it got as much hype as it should have gotten. I don't know if it's based off of the book Invisible Man, because I know there's a book, and I don't think it is. But I think her name is Elizabeth, but she is so good in this movie. And it's also so scary because there's something that's there, but you don't see it. And that's the fear of it. Like, what is it? And it's actually, I'd consider it more thriller even. It has a lot to do with, like, technology, and and, like, revenge. And it's kind of bloody at a lot of times. Great actors in it. Especially, although warning, if you've ever been in like abusive relationships, this really touches on that, so that's kind of triggering for some people. But I think it's slept on. I don't think it got as much hype as it should have. Pearl. Okay. Here's the thing with Pearl. I like it. It's a good sequel to X. Or prequel, I guess. I do think it got overhyped. Mia Goth is great. Love her. I love the clips from it on TikTok. Definitely got overhyped, though. I don't think it's as good as people think. It's kind of like a slasher. Can I even call it that? I mean, she uses an axe. Think like farm horror. I don't know how to explain it. Girl boss horror, I guess. I don't know. I think it was a little bit overhyped. But it's okay. Alright, which one is this one? I'm sorry. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Not good. Slow. Boring. I understand why people like it. I think it should have been remade. I believe it's based off Ed Gein, who is from Wisconsin, which is where I'm from. And I like that aspect of it, but I don't know, man. It's not very good. What is this one? Conjuring 4 or 3. It was good for the year it came out, but I mean, it came out in 2022. Last year, I think? It was fine. It wasn't great. Wasn't great. Same with this one. Insidious Red Door, Insidious 5, I believe, came out this year. Saw it in the theater. It was fine. I like Patrick Wilson. I like Dalton. Wasn't anything I'm gonna write home about. Scream. Classic. You want to see the OG slasher movie, the slasher movie that everything's based off, the campy vibes of Scream, the understanding what kind of movie it is. There's parody movies based off of it. Scream is the one to watch. It's just really good. And honestly, the new Scream movies that came out this year, was it this year? I don't even remember. I think it might have been last year. I'm not sure. But the newest Scream movie, I loved it. It was great. Jenna Fisher, amazing. Not Jenna Fisher. Jenna, what's her name? Ortega. Jenna Ortega. Fantastic in that movie. Loved her. Alright. Probably the newest horror movie on this list. Talk to Me. So good. So good. It's technically A24 Studios. However, it was like a short film. Or not a short film. A film festival movie. It's kind of indie in a way, I've heard. It's scary. It's scary. It's bloody. I think there's talks of a sequel. Would highly recommend if you want like a new, fresh take on horror. I could see this movie having like a cult fandom coming up. It's really good. Alright. I just recently watched this movie. This is The Descent. Kind of girl boss movie. Apparently there's 2 endings to it. I kind of liked the first version of it. There's a sequel. If you are very scared, claustrophobic, or scared of tight spaces, which I am, this really got to me with that aspect of it. It's very bloody. There's a lot of blood in it. Similar to, what's the movie? Evil Dead Rise. There's a lot of blood in it. Which, by the way, I didn't add to this list, but that movie is phenomenal. Evil Dead Rise. Super good. Alright, we're almost done here. 2 more. The Ring. Not a fan. I've heard that the Japanese version is way better. The original Ring, though, I hate to say, I'm not a big fan. It's a good rainy day movie. It's a good movie to watch because it's a classic. I respect it. Not really my thing. Kind of slow. Oh, and I think I added this on twice. Yeah, I did. Alright, this is the final tiers here. So, to talk about, like, the best movies up here, It, Hereditary, The Shining, Get Out, Parasite, Silence of the Lambs, The Conjuring, Smile, Black Phone, Scream, and Talk to Me. Those are the movies you need to add to your list this Halloween if you haven't already. I definitely would recommend Creep and Creep 2 as well. I feel like those movies do not get enough hype. Found footage films, great movies, would watch. If you're looking for like a PG-13 horror, Escape Room's great, The Quiet Place is great. Those are great movies. If you're looking for something that is a little bit more like gruesome, I guess, I would say Midsommar. That one's pretty brutal. Definitely shocks you the first time you watch it, but that's my list. That is my top horror movies. Now, is there anything that I did not add to this list that you think I should? I definitely have a watch list on my Letterboxd right now for this Halloween, and I'm ready to go with that. I try to watch as many horror movies as I can, especially ones that are very underrated or I haven't heard of. There's a lot that I didn't add to this list, but this is 50 movies, so it's quite a bit of movies. But yeah, those are my takes for Halloween this year. So I hope you enjoyed and have a very spooky October. Bye.